Hi, my name is Lisa, and today I'll be making a traditional Caribbean appetizer. It is fried plantain chips and a special jerk dip to dip the chips in. Before we make it, I'm sorry, I just washed my hands. I was getting off all the water, but here we go. We're ready to start. This dip and chips is actually not like your typical American style chips and dip. First, the plantain chips themselves are a little bit thicker than the normal chip. And the dip is actually kind of spicy because of the jerk seasoning, which I will elaborate on. But the combination of the fruit and the dip is very well loved in the Caribbean, which is why it's made so often, and this is why I'm making it for you today. So we will start with the dip. It's very easy. It just requires a little bit of sour cream, mayonnaise, some lime juice for preservation, and if you want, you can add cilantro. And of course the jerk seasoning, which kind of brings everything all together. The cilantro, not everybody likes to add, which I understand. You don't have to add it, of course, and I'm not, just because I like the spiciness of the jerk seasoning to overpower more than cilantro. Cilantro can be kind of strong. So if you do decide to add cilantro, I will tell you how much you need to add if you do want to. Anyway, I have here my mayonnaise measured out. I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of the mayonnaise in a bowl here. Of course, this recipe actually does call for twice the amount that I'm using, but it is okay here because I don't have a lot of people in my house, so I didn't want to make a huge dip and then have nobody really eat it. There's also 1 cup of regular old sour cream. Just going to add that in. And you'll want to use full-fat sour cream. You don't want to go with, like, the low-fat stuff, unless you think that the consistency won't change as much. Of course, full-fat also adds flavor, so just go with the regular old sour cream, and you'll be much happier. I'm going to mix that all together a little bit, get those good, and then we really don't have much left to add after this. We just have some lime juice. Again, this is for preserving the dip a little bit better. Just going to get about a tablespoon. You don't want much more than that. And again, if you're doubling the recipe, you can do 2 tablespoons. So, we're going to add that in. And now we just have to add our special seasoning, which I'll elaborate on a little bit. I had it pre-measured out in here. So it is a mixture of onion flakes, parsley, it's got some paprika, a little bit of sugar, some salt, different peppers. It's going to be, kind of spicy because you've got the cayenne in there, you've got paprika, even the allspice can give a little bit of a kick to it, but you'll want that. It goes very well with the plantain chips. And I'm not adding any cilantro, but if you do want to add cilantro, all you'll need is about 2 tablespoons. You can garnish it on the top of the dip, or you can just mix it in, but this is my dip. It's a little bit speckled, but it's basically just a white dip. And now that is mixed up, I will set it aside. Okay. And the jerk dip, as I've mentioned, several times in this video, it's like the key ingredient to this dip. And the reason being is that, brings out the spiciness. It's actually a big ingredient in all of Caribbean cooking. But like I said, it's just a mixture of several spices and everything, and it's very popular. So you don't have to add, a ton of it if you don't want it to be super spicy, especially if your guests don't want a spicy dip. You can kind of doctor up the cilantro amounts, but it's up to you and what your tastes are. So anyhow, now we're going to go on to the plantain chip process. And here I have a lovely plantain. It kind of looks like a banana, but it's actually not a banana. It's related to one. When these guys are fully ripe, they are dark brown or black. And for the purposes of peeling one, it might be a little bit easier to get a very ripe one. Unlike a banana, you want like a yellowish, greenish banana, but that's not the case here. This is what I could get, and it still works very well for the chips. Now, plantains compared to bananas, they're actually pretty different. Um, they look like bananas, but they taste more like potatoes. They feel like texture-wise more like potatoes, and they work well like potatoes. You know, like you can fry them. They're basically like a very non-sweet fruit. So that's why they're very good for these chips. Anyhow, so I just trimmed off the ends of my plantain like so. And this is kind of going to help the process of taking off this thick peel. So you're going to want to score the peel in 4 different places. I already started one. And you're just going to kind of want to do even scoring along the whole peel. This way, when you are peeling off the sections that you're making, it's a little bit easier. So just about 3 slits like I'm doing. And hopefully your peel will come off easily. I guess my banana's a little bit overripe, so I'm going to have to use my knife to assist me and get this peel off. But it should come off just like this. And it looks like a banana on the inside, not quite like a banana. Anyhow, as you're going to get your peel off, you're going to find it's a little bit messy too, so you can always wipe your hands up. But the peel, you'll just dispose of it when you're done. And then we can get to the frying process, which is the fun part. The plantain also might have some brown spots. You know, it's a tropical fruit, and as it does ripen, it's going to get some spots on the inside, the outside. So you can just cut those off. I'll show you what I'm doing with mine. See, I'm just kind of slicing the peel as I'm going. Okay, it's going to be a little bit, you know, messy, maybe not so pretty, depending on your cutting skills. I'm not too experienced in cutting plantains, so it just depends. But anyway, this is what the plantain might look like, you know, depending on how you cut it. And now we're just going to make our slices. You want to do about an 8-inch thick of a slice. So you can actually cut off your ends a little bit more if they don't look like ideal chip pieces. But so now, since we've got a little bit of time here, I'm going to just talk about an interesting dish in the Caribbean. I don't know if you've ever heard of green fig pie, but it is this pie that they eat for dessert, obviously, and it doesn't have figs in it. It actually has a starchy fruit that we know as a banana. They call bananas figs for some reason, but they use the banana. Unlike the plantain, they want it really, really ripe, really brown. They might boil the banana. And by the way, here's my slices so far. They might be a little bit thicker than usual, but you'll want them at least 8-inch and at most about this thick. Because again, if you're not experienced with frying, you might over fry the chip, and if it's too thin, you'll burn it. So this pie, though, they mix the ripened mashed banana with cheese and milk and a lot of spices, and it's an interesting pie, but I'm not really a big fan of it. I mean, it depends on your taste. So, okay, and now that I have my chips, we are going to start frying. Here on my stove, I just have about a cup of oil in a pan, and I'm going to heat it over medium-high heat. And you're going to want it to get the oil to about 350 degrees. And you'll either hear the oil sizzle or you can throw a little bit of water on it. This way it'll be ready to go for the plantains. And then, you can throw them in. The plantains you can pretty much fry all at once, depending on how many you cut up, or you can just do a few at a time so you don't burn yourself. It's up to you. But I'm going to reduce my heat to medium now that the oil is getting a little bit hotter. And you're going to want to have some paper towels ready on the side. This way when you throw the plantains in, or when they come out, you can blot them on there and dry up the extra oil. And then I will just add my plantains. They'll begin to sizzle a little bit soon. You'll want to separate them a little bit so they don't stick to each other in the frying process. And in the end, this is what you will get. Okay? Thank you for watching.